Hello and welcome to the Underpowered podcast, a gaming podcast where we battle our backlog, revealing what is worth your time, money, and energy. I'm Shelby Stokes, and here today with me, the sidekick, Casey Cool.
Hello.
Now, Casey writes this up every once in a while, and you put sidekick in there. I don't know how accurate that is.
I feel like we're more of a duo, right?
Right.
Like, it's not a Batman-Robin situation. It's more like a maybe Deadpool-Wolverine.
Deadpool. And you kind of got the hair going for Wolverine.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's
man.
right.
I'm just not short.
I don't know how it would look in a yellow or in an orange latex suit like Deadpool, but...
Deadpool had an orange latex? That's red and black.
Yeah. Oh, red latex, not orange.
What are you talking about? Are you colorblind? Is this like the episode where we find
Maybe
out
we
Shelby's
figured it out. That's my superpower, colorblind.
Oh, I don't see colors. Everything's opposite. I can't fly a plane.
Cubes are my nemesis.
Oh, no. Stoplights are horror.
That's right. Yeah, no, the superheroes have been good. You know, their What If podcast or show is still going on. Been enjoying that.
Have you?
You been watching any of that?
No, I haven't. I've had barely time to fart and blink, man.
I mean, animated Marvel. I thought maybe they'd win you back with this.
I like that. I am an animated guy. I just been watching animes. There's some animes on my list. I'm an anime guy.
Have you watched the ad for the new Star Wars series?
Anime?
Yes.
Yes, and I'm intrigued.
It's like Star Wars anime, but it's 7 different anime styles.
Mm-hmm.
That looks bonkers.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'll check it out. No, I've been wanting to read more because I collect those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, and I got this latest volume. Not the latest, but I got a volume recently. It was the one with Bebop and Rocksteady. And we talked about time travel on this podcast before and how we feel about time. Time travel storytelling is either really good or it's really bad, right? There's no true in between. And there's this whole story nexus where Bebop and Rocksteady keep altering timelines and running into themselves, and they make a whole universe of just Bebop and Rocksteady. They almost destroy the fabric of time because they're just whatever you imagine from the 80s cartoon or the video games of Bebop and Rocksteady, the IDW version of them is amplified by 10, right? They destroy whole buildings. They're just, they kill people. They're vicious, right? They're just buffoons. And
they're just doing it up big.
They do it up real big, but they're so stupid, right? They're just so dumb, and they don't realize the ramifications of what they're doing because they just want to be in the best gang and be henchmen and be awesome in their own mind. And it's an interesting take, but the Ninja Turtles do time, and again, I'm not just saying this as a fanboy, very well. If you've seen the movies, the Ninja Turtles 3 movie with the scepter and they go and become samurais.
No, I don't know that one.
You never seen the third Ninja Turtles movie?
Is this the one where they go to
ancient Japan?
Oh yeah, for sure.
They have the scepter, right? That looks like that. That
has the spinny thing inside of it.
So that's a thing from the comics originally. That's like a going item. It's very important to TMNT lore. And as a kid, I never knew that, but now reading the comic, it's drawn in. I'm like, no way! I remember that from the movie, but it's related to this whole other giant storyline in the TMNT universe.
Huh.
And they're doing some wild stuff. They're about to have a crossover with the Power Rangers.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's some action figures with it where the Ninja Turtles are Power Rangers.
Oh, dude, you gotta get some action figures, man.
Oh, yes. I know. My son, he gets so many Pokemon action figures now. I'm holding up a little Squirtle on screen. I have a little Squirtle at my desk. And then this other guy that I love. If you can name this one, I'll be impressed.
That is Mini Snorlax.
It is. That is a baby Snorlax. It's called a Munchlax. It's what its baby is.
Is it really?
Yeah. You can find them in trees in Pokemon Diamond and Platinum if you put honey on the trees, and sometimes they'll appear. That's how you find it in the game. I love that.
Oh my god.
And then it turns out Snorlax, who's one of the best original Pokemon.
Well, I mean, I know this may not be the time in our timeline here, but speaking of swag, I went to PAX this weekend and spent all the money on stupid swag, which I love to death.
So you got pins. You told me you had a pin problem.
I did. I do have a pin problem. So do you know about the Disney pin thing? Have we talked about this?
Yeah, I know that that's a thing that people collect. Are you a Disney pin person?
I am a Disney pin person. Yes. I had a coworker that was really into Disney pins, and I got the bug. I went down there. All the employees have pins. You can trade them one to one. Well, PAX has their own version of pin
Right.
trading. And as soon as I figured out that they have pins that are subtle nods to in-game items from the games that you know and love, I immediately had to go spend all the dollars
Oh, you
on
bought
these
them.
pins. Oh
So
yeah.
so you recall when we went to PAX and I was
Mhm.
playing the Pokemon League people? You know they were giving pins and badges for beating them,
Right.
right?
Right. No, these are like more of collector's pins. And I
Oh.
saw a
The
couple
PAX
of
Pokemon League. Hold on. Do not offend the PAX Pokemon League, sir. Those
well,
are
you wouldn't
collector
want to
pins.
trade away an actual badge for just like something that looked cool, right?
No, you earn it via battle, dude. What are you talking about? This is standard Pokemon rules.
Standard Pokemon rules.
Yeah.
I missed the handheld section of PAX this year.
Yeah, was
So
it
what's
smaller? Would you feel like there was less people this year talking about missing
less
sections?
less people and less spectacle. So when I've
Yeah.
been to PAX in the past, they've had huge displays of different characters, sometimes big monsters. I remember the year I was there, they were promoting um one of the
Evolve.
Monster Hunter games and Evolve.
Yeah, when we were
They
there
had
that one year.
big sculptures of both of those. They didn't have any of that this year. Also the heavy hitters weren't really represented. Like there was no Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo
Whoa.
present on the floor. So it really felt like the indie mega booth had taken over. Like it took over big sections of the convention center, which was cool to kind of go around. But also, we got to keep in mind it's COVID times. So depends on your comfort level. I am not super comfortable like touching controllers or
Yeah.
being that close to people this year. So I didn't do a lot of playing with the games. Me and the guy that I went and
Dr.
rented a
Z.
board game. Dr. Z, shout out to him. We
Yeah.
played a board game upstairs, which was pretty fun. We learned and played a board game while we were there and really enjoyed myself. It was a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, got a couple of pins. I'm now in the pin thing. I got some dice. Got some unicorn
This
dice.
this makes me the happiest to hear.
This makes you the
But it's
happiest.
conflicting because sometimes I'm like, I think he hates D&D, and then sometimes like I think he gets it. I don't know. So what is your stance?
Was my stance?
Yeah.
There was a lot of really cool dice, and I wanted some dice. So now I have some dice. I am good to go.
Do you want dice because you want to play Pokemon or not Pokemon? You want to play D&D again someday?
I think somebody should just have some big boy dice on hand at all times. So now I'm set. I got it now.
All right. Again, the mixed message here.
Yes,
Yes.
very much so.
Would you play in person?
Would I play in person? Sure, I'd probably enjoy it more if I
I think you
played in
would. I
person.
think you would.
I think I would too. So,
I love the and D&D Beyond, like how accessible it makes it and how easy it is to find moves. Because when
mhm,
you print it out, it's actually much harder, and you have to have a physical rulebook. From the DM side, it's nice to have everything digital.
mhm.
Like I don't want to flip through a book. Like I want to have click it. I want to have all my tabs because you know how I work on a browser. I have about 50 tabs open at a time on 3 different things. So. Um, but you got some dice, and you got unicorn dice. Was there any other kind of dice there?
Oh, you can go hard on dice, which I didn't realize. Like
Yeah.
you can spend hundreds of dollars on dice, is what I saw. So at first I was like, oh, those are shiny. And I'm like, wait, $70 for those dice that I want? No thanks. And my kids are super into unicorns right now, having
Mhm.
girls. And yeah, I was like, okay, these are purple sparkly dice. So I can say, hey, these are unicorn dice and they're going to love it. And sure enough, they were all over it.
There you go. They're cool. I like
Yeah.
them a lot.
And purple's secretly my favorite color.
I know you've always like you say fuchsia usually to
Fuchsia.
me.
No, fuchsia is the wrong way. Like lavender.
Lavender. That's what I'm thinking of.
Lavender.
Lavender, like wisteria. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the board game that we played was Life Siphon.
I saw that. What is that
Um,
about?
Pretty cool board game. It's a game where you are resurrecting wouldn't be the right word, but you are calling into play monsters that are then put onto the battlefield, and you got to take them from the summoning zone over to the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have mechanics that is really just life management, right? So you have to pay a certain amount of life to resurrect a person and then send them in. Some characters, it'll actually cost you life points to move them, and then on each turn you get more life. So really the only resource you're managing in this game is HP, but each one of the characters have, special moves or certain attributes that are specific to that character. I enjoyed it. The art style is real neat, and I think that I might like board games, but I'm afraid I'd have to dedicate an entire room to board games, which is intimidating.
Yeah, I know. That's my fear too. And then again, like I have to get people together, and it's just hard enough to get people together to play D&D.
Yeah, we also played Magic the Gathering late into the night. We
Nice.
played a commander hand of Magic the Gathering that night. So we did that until
Did they have decks for you to use there?
No, Dr. Z actually had a couple at his place. So
and he gave you one?
Yeah, so we enjoyed ourselves. We tried to catch a panel, couldn't get in because of the COVID restrictions. Ended up heading back and then played Magic late into the night. So
what? Okay, good. So what color of Magic deck did you play?
I played a fire/gray. Was that swamp? I think
red. Okay, red. Kind of interesting.
Red fire, right?
I don't know if it goes like that's Pokemon. For me, it's like red, blue, green, black, white.
It was red gray.
I didn't know gray was a thing. I thought it was,
or maybe it's black.
Is it black? Yeah, black.
It could be. Yeah. And I don't know. There was a lot going on. We were playing Commander's decks, but I enjoyed it. Some of the cards in those pre-built decks, there's a lot going on in terms of different mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
If I go and play the tutorial on D&D Arena.
Yes, which I love. And that's on iPhones now.
Is it?
Yeah, or it's on phone apps. Like I have it downloaded. They just actually offered, because of an issue with the app, a free card that if you put in the code at Magic the Gathering, they're online, and it's a very good card. I can't think of it right now.
So I just found out recently that one of our mutual acquaintances is like top 10 in the world on Magic. Yeah. And it's crazy to listen to him kind of wax about the game of Magic.
Was he with you guys when we were talking to him about Magic?
No, we were talking about him when we were drinking.
Oh,
late
man.
into the night, drinking and playing Magic.
He's way cooler now that I know that. I wish I knew that about him years ago.
I think it's top secret. His wife didn't even know until he moved like an entire room of cards into their place after they got married.
This is like his secret shame?
This is, yes.
That's hilarious. You should just own it. It's rad.
For sure. So PAX was a great time. You know what else they had at PAX?
No.
Video games.
Oh, really?
Okay. They did. They had
did you play
games. I did not play any video games.
Oh.
Nope. What did I see? I saw that the new Tales of game had a pretty big
Tales
booth.
of Arise. People are very, very... That comes out...
Good buzz.
Recording of this when this drops.
Is that right? Yeah, it looked cool. It looked really neat. Cool. It looked a lot like one of those more modern JRPGs, so like your FF7 remake or something in that vein.
Which still like an anime vibe to it, but very vibrant.
Yeah, very vibrant. We sat there and watched it for quite a while. I really enjoyed it. So, cool. Yeah, have you been playing any video games outside of the PAX?
Oh man, my life's been crazy busy, and we're going to talk about that later on the podcast. But I've been watching my son play a game, and we had a very proud moment. My son beat his first Pokemon game and became the champion of the Pokemon League and Pokemon Sword on his own. No help from dad, just like a couple guidance things there. Built his whole team, did it himself. Single tear shed for dad. I took a picture
through that too.
He did. 40 hours. I looked at the playtime. I was like, good for him. He's going through because I have all the when I bought it, I have the expansion for the Isles and whatnot. So right now he's trying to get the legendary dog. He's going to do the post game, and then he's going to go do that. I took a picture of his team, and I'll tell you who is on his team. It was just interesting to see. So he chose the monkey, which I was surprised because that's what I chose. I thought he liked the other one. He told me he wished he chose Sobble. He has a like buyer's remorse like you did when you picked Sobble and you wanted Scorbunny. He used Corviknight. He used that pink bear, Beware. That's like the pink.
Yeah.
He used that. He used... what was the other one? Oh, Vikavolt. So he had... Because he was doing those raids, it's this electric bug, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh my god, Asher, and he's like, what? And I was like, it's level 92. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, evolve it. He had something that was so overpowered. He was just crushing everything. It floored me. And then he took a Mr. Rhyme, which is the evolution of the Mr. Mime, the ice psychic Mr. Mime that
Yeah.
tap dances because he thought it was funny. And then he had the fire Chandler Pokemon. That's what's
Oh,
Chandler, the fire
okay.
ghost.
Yeah.
So he had a well balanced team. Sometimes he'd have something on here and he'd ask me, I'm like, well, this is like his team, to be honest, in like a competitive play would get wrecked by fire. Like, this is me. I'm not gonna tell him that. I just like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, this one's okay. I tried to be like as hey, not hands on, and explain things to him. And I explained to him though the big thing was not to use his master ball on something really small.
Oh.
Right? I showed him the memes of like kids using master balls on Rattata, and he was like, "That's so bad." I go, "I know." So he's been saving it for the legendary dog on the cover,
Oh, there
and
you go.
that's what We've been limiting his game time because he started up school. So your daughters aren't super into gaming yet, right? Are they? Do they get screen time? How do you manage that?
I think my first I think I finally have a game that they're interested in.
Which one?
Psychonauts 2.
Oh, they like that. That's
For
cool.
sure. Yeah, yeah. It's vibrant, great colors. The characters are pretty enjoyable.
Cool.
So I think this is the first game that they actually plug into. Like normally if I'm playing games and they come in, they're like, "Dad, I don't want to play games. Put on a show." But this one
Right.
they actually sat and watched me play
Right.
for a hot minute. So I think I can actually get them into that. I tried to when I played through Marvel Heroes. They seemed somewhat interested, but it wouldn't hold their attention.
Yeah.
This one does.
Yeah.
So how's
It's
that for an answer?
they don't have iPads. Like they don't get iPad time.
We don't give them iPad time where they're playing any
Oh,
games.
okay. It's
They'll
more
watch
like YouTube.
shows on the iPad. No kids
Children's you.
YouTube for me.
Okay.
You can watch Disney or Netflix. That's
There
how
you
it
go.
is. Yeah.
I put on kids YouTube. I don't have standard YouTube, so it's
Mhm.
very limited, and they don't see the random murder videos or whatever the thing was back in the day. I know. So with Asher with school, the rule is he gets like a timer. We set a timer, and then like I've been learning like language. Like okay, well your time is up today, but what do you want to play tomorrow? Like how to like talk to him about it so it's not all he wants to do. And if it's the
Mhm.
weekend, if he's done a lot of like physical activity, I'm like, go for it. Like let's just
Mhm.
relax, play until I tell you to stop, or till I want to play.
Yeah.
That's the big issue is we need another Switch because I sometimes want to play when everyone's chilled. I could be playing something, but the big thing is he has to read a book out
Mhm.
loud to us now. That's kind of like okay, he read. Did you do this? Did you do your other stuff? And he's about to be really busy because he's starting football, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so my little one's not reading yet. So I think once the little one is able to read, we might try to plug in games here and there where,
mhm.
they're having to read the actual characters that are coming up on the screen.
Dude, when he skips text in front of me, I go, "What are you doing? No, read that out loud to me right now." Like I use that as a opportunity to go, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." Like he knows he's not supposed to, and it's hard because he wants to like keep playing. He likes the gameplay, and the
Mhm.
reading's not. When he's like in fourth grade, he'll be like, blah, 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 blah. It'll be easy peasy. But there's some words that we got to work on together, and he's like, "Dad, I just want to play." I'm like, "I know, but you need to be smart."
Yeah,
Um,
for
yeah.
sure. For
So
sure.
Psychonauts 2, how far are you into that?
Ooh, good question. Not very far. Not very far. I'm probably through the first couple of levels and I'm just jumping into the overworld, which is kind of neat.
Yeah,
It has a really good momentum to it.
cool.
It moves quickly. It seems somewhat linear, but then opens up a little bit, but not too much. Like it's not an open world game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a very well assembled game.
Okay.
I did not expect this game to be as enjoyable as it is. It's been getting a lot of buzz on from some of the other people I follow.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised to see it come out to such celebration. Hopefully, it can continue to rise and win people over. I really enjoyed the first one, and this one is a surprising venture back into the Psychonauts universe. So
So
I'm
you
liking it.
you played the first one.
I did.
When did the
I
first one
did.
come out? It was years ago, right?
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Let's see if you can
I
remember.
would
Try to think. Try
say
to think.
oh 08.
Oh, 08 for the original Psychonauts. I think we were in college. You're very close. You're very close. You are under. You're over. You're over.
I was over.
Yeah, I'll give you one more guess.
Um, I feel like it was prior to us graduating. I would say it was like 0304 then.
Oh, you're under now.
Now I'm under, so I had 8 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
5,
It was
6.
2005. It was
Oh, 5.
2005.
Okay.
2005.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
5. Yeah,
so 16 years is a
wow.
long time to get a
Mhm.
sequel.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's part of the reason I was expecting it to kind of be a clunker. Is anything that's been in development for that long
Yeah.
normally is like, oh boy, what, like The Last Guardian? Remember the big furry dog
Oh
game?
yeah, that had
And
so
that,
much potential. That looks so cool.
yeah, for sure. So, I mean, all that said, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm going to keep on it. It seems like it's getting better. In the early games, when I spoke about it last week, it seemed like something I wasn't going to really buy into wholeheartedly. As it's continued on, I've continued to enjoy it more and more. So,
Nice.
more to come on that. Still picking at Desperados 3.
Okay.
That is a very involved game. I'm not playing as much of it because you just need to sit down and take the time to do it.
It's hard probably with the little ones around too, right? Because
It
you
is.
can't. It
Yeah.
when you play games that involve like critical thinking, you can't. It's. I have to know I can have a clear hour. It has to be like sleeping hours. You know,
Mhm.
like
Right.
okay, I can wake up at 3 in the morning, get an hour before I walk the dog, and I can go to bed extra early. Or
Yeah.
everyone needs to go to bed on Saturday night.
That's exactly right. So I don't like want to dedicate a huge amount to brain space. Like I mentioned, like my last week was pretty crazy. So like Psychonauts 2, really good writing, really good story. Ugh, I don't really want to hop into that.
Right.
Desperados 3, I got to think. I just want something I can just turn on and play through. So I ended up downloading and playing Children of Morta,
Yes, one of
which is
my
one of
games I
your
loved
favorite
last year.
games. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
your game of the year last year, wasn't it?
it was number two.
It
It was
was
my
up
number
there.
two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest was my number one, but that was number two. I love that game last
Yeah,
year.
and I think the reason that I was attracted to it is because it's run based, right? So I can
Yeah.
go in, do like a 7 minute run, and then get out with no penalty.
Yeah.
And that is what I was looking for, is just a quick hit, be able to hop in, hop out. And you could do that with Psychonauts too, but that game's going to be better experienced in longer
Yeah.
doses.
You want to play long form. So, what
Mhm.
do you think of Children of Morta?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Initially.
And
Initially.
yeah, and so I only have 3 characters unlocked.
The
It
dad, the son, and the
sister.
daughter.
Yeah, so the sister, the archer, and then I just recently unlocked the kid with daggers.
The son, the younger son.
Yes.
He's like the rogue character that is really good with knives, but he's fast. Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's
Kevin.
frustrating me. He
Kevin.
can't take a hit to save his life.
No, Kevin you have to dodge with a lot. I think it's
Right.
Kevin, Lydia, and John. Yeah,
And I
yeah, yeah.
think so whenever you unlock the characters, you get like base attacks, you get
hmm
base attacks, and very shortly after you get like a secondary attack, which is more of a special on a cooldown.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3 special attacks. Yeah,
But so you don't get the third special attack until well
like
into
level
the
10.
leveling cycle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
don't need it
so
for where you're at.
well, I don't know. I need to evade with that Kevin kid.
Yes,
And right
constantly.
now I run into like an ogre, I dodge out and the hit still takes. And I keep losing on him with like 6 minute runs. But the thing that I've noticed about this game is you just keep playing it and you'll eventually level yourself up to a point where you can go in and wipe.
And sometimes it's about you get the random items, right? So you
Mhm.
get so the other thing for power ups, like you get an L and R button power up that is completely random. Like there's one where you can summon a pool of acid that a dragon comes
Mhm.
out of and hurts everybody, and those ogres get crushed, right? And you're like, oh great, I've got the items for a run. I'm making a run here. I'm gonna beat the boss, right? It depends
Yeah.
on there. Um, I found John to be the easiest to level up first, and then you can kind of progress and you unlock a little more things here and there, but
Yeah, so they do this interesting thing, like where you hit certain level tiers. Like after your first 4 levels with any character, you get an entire squad boost, right? So
yes.
once you hit level 4, everybody in all the characters get like more HP or more of
Right.
this, more of that, which is a
There's
cool mechanic.
right. There's one of the options is you can choose in the buff wheel, like every character gets more HP, everybody's capped. Like there's one that's like there's a general wheel where you can invest money from the
Hmm.
game into overall ability, and then there's a talent tree, and like everyone's passive. Everyone gets a different passive ability talent tree when you get them to that level. That it helps everybody too. So they do cool. They encourage you to play the other characters by
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, because you get one of those buffs at level 4 and level 8. So I have, every time I go in, I see which character is closest to that team buff, and then I try to
Mm.
choose that character, which is what I was playing with that rogue in the beginning and kind of getting my butt handed to me. But I got to the point where I was like, this game is really hard. This is going to be my last run on this first level, and then I'm going to have to take a break. And then I ended up beating the boss on the first
Right.
level, and then I was
Yes.
back in. I was like, okay, sign me
Yeah.
up.
That's the best. It's
So
a
it
fun
was.
couch co-op too.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw that there was a co-op mode here.
Yeah. They had a plan, and I don't know what it's going on because of COVID and everything. They did a thing last fall for Dogs and Paws because of like a DLC, but they had like an endless mode plan to come
Mm.
out at a certain point where you could just keep going. Um, I love that game so much. I just like the style. So
Well, I
who?
know they've done a lot because when you launch the game, it says, there's a whole nother mode that they shove inputs in your face or
Hmm.
updates about in your
Hmm.
face. And it sounds like that's outside of the campaign. So that's probably the mode you're talking about.
Yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
played it in a while. I kind of want to fire that back up. Like that sounds kind of fun to do.
Yeah, and the story beats are, I'm not really coming to it for the story because I want something quick hit that I can get in and out of. But the story's pretty good.
Yeah.
You get through a run and then inevitably something is happening back at the house. And it's like a 30-second, 1 minute
Hmm.
cutscene about something that's going on in the world. And then you basically drop in, upgrade, and then take another
And
dive into the dungeon.
and that voice acting that does the narrator,
Hmm.
he's like, yeah, narrate my life, dude.
Yeah.
Just tell me what I'm doing. I want to hear you. That's the voice I want in my head when I'm
Can
thinking
you
about
just
things.
follow me around? Yeah, so all that to say, I've been playing a lot of games, but I've been an inch deep and a mile wide this
Yeah.
week. So hopefully I can hop in some more. But let's transition over to the
Yes,
news.
let's go to the Nerd News Network. So, this first one, I posted this story because I think it's great. Modders be getting jobs. And this is kind of the new trend. When we had Sean on, Sean talked about it with the whole group that made the special mod for Skyrim that made it a whole new game. I can't think of it. Hold on. Skyrim mod game. I think it was Eldrin. Yeah, Enderall. Enderall Forgotten Stories, right? Which is just like this huge mod, the story, and then they became their own studio. So CD Projekt Red, after a horrible let off or takeoff, not let off, takeoff for Cyberpunk, has decided to start hiring modders. That's who they're going to get. That's who they've been getting for jobs. And why I like this story is I think this is going to be a big trend in the future for how you get jobs in gaming.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's a whole community of people out there that are doing this work for free,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are passion projects. I think that this is the right way to interact with the community because I was just reading the news today and there was another game that shut down a whole modding community. I think it was a RuneScape update, and they basically, a couple of days before launching that modded game, they pulled the plug on it. And you would think that if you would just embrace the modders, bring them on your team, put them on a project, it would go a lot further for the community. And you've already sourced the talent. And I understand controlling vision is going to be the issue there, but for the most part, I love how CD Projekt Red has leaned into this. I'm a big CD Projekt Red fan. It's too
Yeah,
bad that they had such a black eye on Cyberpunk 2077, another game that I have downloaded that I haven't played. But
as we do.
I want them to succeed, even though they released Cyberpunk 2077 and it was not anywhere near what they had promised. So.
Yeah, I think this is a smart move, and it's how you build faith back in the community because those people that were modding listen to the community and know what people want and can kind of say like, "Hey, you guys need to pull your head out, and we need to do things this way." You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I think this is the way, and this is a very grandiose statement, but I really believe that this is part of the way that jobs and business will be done moving forward, right? With remote work, with the ability to tap into these different skill sets. If you're able to pull this stuff off on your own, you can probably get a job for it somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not really the gatekeeping that we've seen in generations past to the same extent that we have seen it historically. So that's good. I also shoved another news story in
Yes.
here, mainly for you, Case.
Thanks.
Stardew Valley creator is hinting at a new game.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
So yeah, there were rumbles about updates, and then he came out and basically said, I don't even know at this point in regards to an update. Right now, I'm focusing on my next game. So we'll see.
which is great to hear that. In the developer's named Concerned Ape, and it's out of Chucklefish, which I love. Chucklefish, they make a lot of great products. They made a Stardew Valley board game too. There was an announcement for that, which would be interesting, and I think it would get people in. I love relaxing games like Stardew, and Chucklefish has this other one coming out called Witchbrook, which is it's Harry Potter. You're in wizard school, witch and wizard school, and you're just like going to classes, is my understanding. I hope that do I don't know what I want. Do I want another farm game? Because have you played Stardew?
Well, I hate to break it to you, but it will not be a farm game because this quote goes on to say it'll be a pixel
Yeah,
art game, top-down perspective, similar to Stardew, but it's also not a farming game. And I'm paraphrasing what his tweet was
yeah,
there. So no
which I
farming
love it.
game. But do I
I,
love farming games? Sure. I just played through Spirit Fair, which could arguably
right.
be considered a farming game.
Well, there's this whole sequence too where you're dungeon crawling in that game, where you have to explore caves and you fight and you mine in the caves and you fight monsters in the cave. I, I'm curious if he would do something in space. I just want someone to do like a space farm game. Let's see it. Do it, Concerned Ape.
I could see it. I could say. I mean, I love this art style that he
Yeah,
goes with on Stardew. So anything in that vein would be
yeah.
cool. Top down perspective can mean a lot of different things.
It will be a day one buy for me. I don't care what it is. I will buy it
I
and
don't
play
care
it.
what it is. Just give it
Give
to
it to
me.
me
Just give it to me.
if I have time. And I think that moves us to our final segment when we're talking about time.
Time. So this podcast has always been something that we have focused on what is worth the listener's time, what is worth our time. We're working through a backlog and trying to figure out the
Mm-hmm.
best way to work through the best games that are out there in regards to pricing and time commitment. And things are getting crazy. We both have kids, 2 young kids per
Mm-hmm.
family, and school is starting
That's
up.
4 for you playing the home game.
Exactly. 2 times 2 is 4. So we're going to go on a brief hiatus is what we're going to
Yeah,
do. And we're going to recycle some of our older episodes, some of our bangers, if you will.
yeah,
So feel free to listen to those or check us out here. We're going to take about 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, and just kind of
yeah,
retool, get acclimated to the school year, and then we'll be back to
yeah.
continue to work through some of our
I've
backlogs.
I've taken on a lot of commitments. I called Shelby with like the way of the world. He's a good friend because he could tell and that I was having a hard day when I called him. Not because I was crying, because I wasn't, but I was just
No, there was
stressed.
no tears. It was
There's no
yeah.
tears this time. There's been many times where I've talked to Shelby and there's been tears, not about the podcast, but in our lives. And I want this to still be fun, and it's fun. I don't want to quit this because I just enjoy talking to one of my closest, dearest friends about video games every week. But I also want this to be enjoyable for us, and I like doing a good job. Right, that's the other thing. I like to be proud of the work we're doing, and we've done a lot of really cool things. My favorite compliment, and also it's backhanded way, is when people say you far exceeded any expectations I had, and they go, "Thank you." Like I don't know what to say when anybody says that. It's like, "Oh, you think very little. Cool, good to know." But I want us to continue making a good product, but we don't like. I'm not doing anybody justice when I say I'm doing a podcast about video games when I'm not playing video games right now.
Mhm.
It's just that time in my life I can't. I made a lot of commitments to the school district I work in and a lot of opportunities for me that I need to take in my personal life because as much as I would like to say Underpowered keeps the lights on, it doesn't for me.
It's a
And
passion project and always
it
has
is a
been.
passion project and it's just funsies. And it's a lot of work on our end, and we have some other things we kind of want to do, and we might want to take the 5 weeks off to really think about what works best for us and what works best for the show. And if people have any feedback they want to give us or direction that they like or things they like that we do, we're totally open to hear it because we're just taking these 5 weeks to come back with a vengeance and make a really good product for everybody that's listening and still enjoy it and still play video games and keep our wives and families happy.
And that is part of the process. I think
Yes.
I am married to a teacher. Casey is obviously a
Hmm.
teacher, and it's been a interesting last, whatever you want to call it, 16 months when the in-person schooling went remote, and we have been remote for a while, and now we are going back in person in the Washington State area, and there's a lot of stress that goes into that. And
Hmm.
is it going to be long-term stress? No, it's just going to be getting in a new routine. So we want
Right.
to make sure that we can get a new routine in place without um, putting everything into jeopardy. So we are going to take
Right.
this time and try to get our house right, quote unquote, before we continue to move forward. So, Casey and I both want to be involved in this continually. Like, we want to keep this
Hmm.
going and moving forward. So this isn't a goodbye. It's just, we're going to take a break, and it's going to be
Yeah.
short term. We'll be back before you know it.
Yeah, and if you follow us on socials and our Discord, we'll be recommending, like Shelby said, great episodes that people need to hear and have maybe already heard or haven't heard. And just reach out to us if you want some changes or what you like and what you don't like, and keep following us on socials. We have some other stuff in the pipeline too for that.
Yeah, for sure. So that's going to be it for this week. We're going to wrap it.
Yep,
I don't know what you're going to play in the next 5 weeks while we are on hiatus. And,
Bravely Default too.
and,
No,
we say 5 weeks. Who knows? We may be back in 3, but watch the feed,
yeah,
see when it pops back in. You're going to
yeah.
be on some Bravely Default too. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, and then I think I gotta get rid of. I think I've got some things that are haunting me right now that I need to defeat.
Okay. All right.
So,
There you
all
go.
right, I'll come back. I'll come back with I beat 15 games. Yeah,
Is that
something
right?
weird will happen.
Yeah.
It'll be like Hyper Light Drifter. I'm just gonna find some bangers that I can't put down, and that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I intend to finish Desperados 3 and Psychonauts 2. I'm going to take a
Nice.
strong maybe on Children of Morta.
Ooh,
Morta, right?
Morta.
Morta,
Yes,
yeah.
maybe it's my favorite stance to take.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's a game that I can jump in and out on. But
Yes.
enough from us. That's where we're at. That's what we're doing. We hope that you
Yep.
are well. To all those dads and parents out there, we know September is a tough month, but keep on keeping on. We will be back in the swing of things before
Yep.
you know it. You got anything else?
No.
All right. Well, be easy. And if you want more of us, feel free to follow us on our social channels in the attached description. We're also in Discord talking games. There's also a lot of talk about this Pokemon Unite thing going on. Check it out. Feel free to leave us a review, 5 stars, if you would be so kind. And that is a wrap for this week. We are out.
Play your games.